That was absolutely lovely. What a beautiful way to ease into the service. And I'm going to humiliate myself.
Is that mic on?
Is the mic? It seems like it's on. I hear it from the back. I, being an old DJ, and you're not playing the game for years, I've known that song, and I can't come up with the title.
It's called Play Me.
Play Me.
It's
Okay,
an
Neil
old
Diamond. Yeah.
Neil Diamond song.
Yeah, okay, there we go. I was thinking, I knew that song, I just couldn't place it. Yeah. All right, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Scott. I'll be your host for the next couple of minutes as we get things going. I have a whole series of announcements for us, but as we get started, where are we going here? First time in this location. Okay, slide is over there. So first what I'd like you all to do is to read what it says on the slide, except not that slide. There we go. So we will all say together the top paragraph, which says, "We are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us." And turn to somebody and lovingly say, "I honor the path that brought you here this morning." Okay, next up we'll show our weekly schedule. Wow, look at this, right on top of it. There we go, good work there. So this is what's coming up this week, including, we'll go into a little bit more detail about the Saturday event, but everything is important. That's on that slide. Most things are on Zoom. Please feel free to get as involved as you can in many different things. Speaking of getting involved, we don't have a slide yet for this, but Bev, where did you go? There you are. Bev wanted to talk a little bit about Bridge House for this time of year.
Hi, good morning everybody. Okay, I finally got our families and everything for Bridge House, and I believe most of you know how it works, but I'll refresh memories very quickly. This year we have 2 families. One is a mom and 5 kids. Okay, and then the second one is a single dad with a 12-month-old baby girl. So we've got tags up there for everybody, and go ahead and choose a tag. And then you need to come and see me, let me know your name so that I can identify who's taking care of the gift. So you don't end up with one child having a bunch of gifts and then some that don't show up and we don't have as many. So anyway, I'll put up the instructions for everyone up in the hallway near the tree. Just make sure that you see me. We will be having a gift wrapping party on the 20th, which is a Tuesday at 1:30. And I think I've covered most.
One thing, because we have people who might not know what Bridge House is. Would you explain what Bridge House is?
Bridge House is part of RCAA, and it's in an area called the PACT program, which is Parents and Children in Transition. They take kids off the streets, and moms and dads, they help them. They keep them in one center where they have housing and food. They help them find jobs, re-educate, and then support them to getting a new home and stay with them for up to like a year and a half. And make sure that they're going to do well and not back in that same situation. So for years, we've been taking care of the kids over Christmas and backpacks, and it's just a wonderful, fun event. We have a blast. That's good, thank you.
And speaking of years, thank you for doing that for all of these years. In the more present tense, we have yoga twice a week now at the center, and it is with Karen. You can see it there. Kathy, excuse me. I'm looking at the, I'm just gearing you up, you know. I mean, yeah. Everything today will be with Karen. So when I say a sentence, when I go, we are going to do the holiday exchange, with Karen. The bookstore is with Karen. So we do have yoga twice a week. It is, there we go. That is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The holiday decoration exchange is this coming Saturday. I have been, with the help of other volunteers too, we have been putting, I made some green ones because they were a little easier to read. The red ones were a little dark. We have been putting up flyers around town. We have received media coverage, which is wonderful. There are so far, both of the thrift stores in Henderson Center have said they will take some of the ornaments when we are done. It would be nice if there was somebody who would come and pick them up. They won't, but they'll be glad to take them. So if you are not familiar with it, we did it once in 2019. We wanted to do it every year. COVID had other plans for us. And the holiday decoration exchange is people bring what they want and they take what they need. And there's no obligation. It's just one of the, possibly with the exception of Bridge House, one of the best feelings you can have is to be part of this event. We do need some volunteers. We have quite a few volunteers, but we'll always take more. People will be dropping off decorations several times during the week, hopefully. And then on Saturday from noon to 4, we will give them away. So we need people on Saturday who want to feel good and want to be helpful and clean up afterwards, and people to be at the center for a few hours here and there. I have a schedule if you would like to receive decorations as and if they come in. Our bookstore, we continue to support our bookstore, which is in the other room. And to that end, a couple of weeks ago, we took orders for the Living Out Loud journal, and there were several people who asked for them. They have now come in. I have them with me. If you would like your journal, simply see me and repay me for the cost of the journal, and you'll have your 2023 journal. I've only got a limited number of them now, so you have to buy them online. I bought for the people in advance, but it was 18, including shipping, 18 something. And I've got, I think, 2 or 3 left. Okay. Let's see here. Next up, the little pantry needs to be fed, especially this time of year, for those people who are less fortunate than ourselves, who need the support. We put food in the little pantry, non-perishable only. And then before we get to this month's theme, we have a brief poll, a survey, if you will, that is, you see the slide is there, the projector projects over there. We have moved our platform from over there to over here. So the question is, do you prefer to keep the slide over there? Oh, by the way, hi Zoomers, didn't say hi. Do you prefer to keep the slide over there where it is? Or the other idea we have had was to move Deepak, and we would put it here. So, first of all, any ideas? And if not, we'll just, yes, please. I couldn't see you. Yes, please.
Well, when I was sitting here hearing what you were saying, I was thinking, oh, right there would be good. And then when you pointed the other side, I saw heads, so maybe up higher on that.
Yeah, it would be higher than that.
But yeah.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
Sure.
You would block the screen for people on the side.
You
I think it's better there.
You mean because of my brilliance and brightness? Or
Yes.
You're turning the heater then.
Yeah, that's it.
That's really important.
Close that.
Yes. Anna.
Well, what about you guys over there? Is it okay over there for you, or you have stiff necks? Maybe all the stiff necks could sit on this side.
And as for the musicians, does this work for you over there, where it is? Okay.
I think it's beneficial if it stays right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
The Bryans have it.
One moment.
I'd be the one moving it.
I'm sorry, one moment. What was that?
Would it fit between the two vents, right up high above your head, in the middle right there?
I don't think it would fit between the two vents, is that right?
And
The block the screen.
Yeah, it would block the screen. Okay, so it seems like a consensus is growing here, but show of hands, if you prefer the projector to stay where it is. Will the 1 or 2 people who don't want the slides to stay there raise your hands? All right, so it looks like we will keep it there, which I'm sure will be a breath of relief for Brian and the people who were going to actually move it too. So, all right, that was our poll for today. Our theme for the month, one last time, is home. We'll have a slide one last time, and then I will now let Les come up and do the contemplative meditation. Les will lead it with Jackson doing the background music, and then we'll introduce Karen, who will be our speaker, because today, remember, is with Karen Day. Les, it's yours. I'm not abandoning the microphone. It's an old Toastmasters thing. You don't leave the microphone.
Having never done Toastmasters, I didn't know that. All right. My name is Les Craig. I am practitioner of the day, which means that after the service, if anybody feels need of a treatment, I will be available. This is from Emerson's essays, from the one about the oversoul. We lie open on one side to the deeps of spiritual nature, to all the attributes of God. Justice we see and know, love, freedom, power. These natures no man ever got above, but always they tower over us, and most in the moment when our interests tempt us to wound them. The sovereignty of this nature, whereof we speak, is made known by its independency of those limitations which circumscribe us on every hand. The soul circumscribeth all things. As I have said, it contradicts all experience. In like manner, it abolishes time and space. The influence of the senses has in most men overpowered the mind to that degree that the walls of time and space have come to look solid, real, and insurmountable. And to speak with levity of these limits is in the world the sign of insanity. Yet time and space are but inverse measures of the force of the soul. We are capable of abolishing them both. The spirit sports with time, can crowd eternity into an hour, or stretch an hour to eternity.
To help you awake to all the wonder that you are. I long to show you I'm here to remind you how much you're truly loved.
So thank you, Jackson. I invite you all to feel that love and to be open, not on one side, but all of them, to the oversoul, to spirit that makes this and everywhere you are your home. I feel gratitude for the presence that binds us all together while yet we walk free. And with gratitude, I want to thank Jackson for opening the door for us. And with gratitude, I welcome Karen's message. Let us all be here together and feel the presence and bring it out into the world with us. And so it is.
I long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. I'm here to remind you how much you're truly loved.
Now our special presentation by Karen.
Well, good morning, everyone. What a joy it is to be the guest speaker here this morning. And as you know, this month we have been exploring the global theme of Living Everyday Wonder Home Edition. And the title for today's talk is Welcome to Your Dream Home. Now, I'm not going to lie. When Reverend Angelica told me that this was the title for the talk, I immediately thought, what the heck am I going to do with that? But luckily, as I took it into contemplation, it became quite clear. You see, the title of the talk is not Welcome to Your Dream House. It's Welcome to Your Dream Home. And as we've been exploring together this month, home is a state of mind. And so the question became, how can we cultivate that feeling to such a degree that no matter where we go, we're already home? Are you guys with me? Yeah, I see some head nods. I think we're still asleep a little bit this morning. I know you guys are not that quiet. All right, well, any good home starts with a strong foundation. And so we're going to do something I like to call building a spiritual exercise program. And we do this using the cornerstone practices in Science of Mind. And so we begin with affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment, and affirmation. I know when I was new to this path, I watched one of those shows like What's the Bleep? And in it, there was a speaker, and the speaker kept saying, you can set up your day. You can absolutely use the power that lives out here to set up your day how you want. And I found that affirmation and spiritual mind treatment are two ways that we can do that we can actually co-create our existence together. And the third thing we have is gratitude. And gratitude practices often take the look of writing out lists. And a little insight into me, I don't like to write lists because it reminds me of detention when I was in school. And so, but I knew that the gratitude practice was something very important. It's something that if we do every day can change our lives. And so I came up with a new practice. I like to call it snooze gratitude. So every morning when my alarm clock rings, I always hit the button and I lay in bed and wait for it to ring again. Because I don't like to get up right away. I like to kind of stretch and slowly wake up. And I don't actually go back to sleep during that time, but I'm not ready to get up quite yet. And so I realized this was the perfect place for me to start practicing gratitude. And so every morning I hit the button and then I lay there and I start listing all of the things that I'm grateful for. And it's often I'm grateful for the snooze button or my warm bed, but it's about 9 minutes if you hit a snooze bar. And so in that time, as I keep listing out all of the gratitudes, I come down to those things that I'm truly thankful for in my life, for my family and my health, and for this beautiful community, for this practice itself. And so before my feet even hit the ground in the morning, I'm filled with gratitude. And I'm also a nurse, so I really love the science part of Science of Mind. And what we've learned about gratitude is that you can't be negative and thankful at the same time. That it actually lives in different places in our brain. So when we have a gratitude practice, we're actually refocusing the energy inside of our mind. How powerful is that? The fourth practice, last but not least, would be meditation. And I'm sure there isn't anybody in this room or listening online that hasn't heard of the power of meditation. I've heard people say they don't do it because they have a mind that just races away or they can't sit still. And I'm here to tell you that if you were one of those people, you're doing it right. You're practicing it perfectly. Because the opportunity every time you meditate is to catch that monkey mind and bring it back. Even if it only sits still for 2 seconds, you're doing some very important work while you're bringing that back. You're getting the opportunity to slow down, to be still, even if it's just for a moment. And you're also beginning to recognize that you're not that. If you can catch it and bring it back, you have to be something other than your thoughts, other than what you think. And what we know about meditation is that it literally changes the structure of our brain. I've heard people also say that they feel like spiritual development has hit a plateau, that the world is no longer growing. Like any good exercise program, when we hit a plateau, it doesn't mean that we need to stop what we're doing. It just means we need to mix things up a little bit different. And so I invite you to ponder, what if we've gotten to the stage in our spiritual development where we're required to be active participants in that process? Where we need to now have that daily spiritual exercise program in order to continue moving forward. And if this is the case, then perhaps we are the change that we've been waiting for. That it's when we do these things and are spiritually minded all the time that we begin to create heaven on earth, so we're already home. And this brings me into my second point, and that's looking at the latitude of our attitude. And can we be spiritually minded? Ernest Holmes says, spiritual mindedness is a persistent and consistent attempt to feel the divine everywhere and in all things. Oh, this is a really great practice. Because you know what? The world is giving us lots of opportunities to do the opposite of that. And so here we have the opportunity to find a way to stand for something and against nothing in every situation. That no matter what we see in our social media feed or we hear in the news, can we find a way to be in a place of positivity and put our energy into the good? That instead of feeling against or angry about all of the evils of the world, the so-called evils, that we take a stand for peace. That instead of being against the limitations, we take a stand for freedom. And in here we find the keys to our dream home. When we stand for something and against nothing. When we're aligned in principle in all things and all situations. That's a foundation that no one can shake. And when we do this, we also begin to see ourselves and each other as whole, perfect, and complete. And what if we were to start seeing those things that we think are wrong with us as part of the process? And we begin to accept that even in the chaos, there is always a divine pattern that is unfolding. And so I brought a very simple story that on a microscopic level demonstrates this for us. And I don't know if you've heard it before. Has anybody heard the story about the water bearer and the two pots? Ooh, I only see a couple of heads shaking. This is good. I've got a room full of new people. So there was once a water bearer, and every morning he would go down to the stream and fill 2 pots with water to take up the windy mountain trail to his master's house. And he carried them on this long pole across his neck. And when he got to the master's house, the one pot was very filled with pride, for he was full of water. But the other pot, he had a crack. And so he always arrived only half full. And he was ashamed. And this went on for weeks and weeks. And silently, he felt bad about his lack of ability to arrive at the master's house filled with water. He wasn't doing his job. And so one day, he spoke to the water bearer by the stream. I have to apologize to you, he said. I'm so ashamed. Why? Said the water bearer. What do you have to be sorry for? I have this crack in my side, and I'm never able to fulfill my job. The water bearer felt compassion for the pot. And he said to him, I want you to do me a favor. When we go up the path today, I want you to pay attention to what you see along the way. And the pot agreed. Thought it was a strange request, but agreed to do what the water bearer asked. And so up they went on the path, and the pot noticed the most beautiful, vibrant flowers. Oh, and they had the most beautiful leaves and colors, and they lifted his spirit somewhat. But when he arrived at the master's house, there again, he was only half full. And so once again, he apologized to the water bearer. And the water bearer said, no. Did you see the flowers along the trail? Well, yes, I saw them. They were quite beautiful. Did you happen to notice that they only grow on your side of the path? And the pot hadn't noticed that. That's because, said the water bearer, every day as we walk back to my master's house, you have watered them for me. It is because of you and your crack that I have been able to bring this beauty and this abundance into my Master's house. And for the first time, the pot felt pride. What if each one of us are cracked pots? Yeah? I mean, I know I am. Right? Yeah. I see some hands going up. Those things that we think are not right about us are actually the things that are assisting someone else in something that they're doing. That each one of us is actually perfectly imperfect. And this leads me in to my third point. That we are all interconnected. That we're a part of this web of life. That we're not here just on the planet, but are actually a piece of it. Something I noticed when I first moved here to Eureka was just how much we're in nature. See, in Arizona, I could get out to nature, but here we're with it so much that there are things like bears in our backyard, which I'm still not sure how I feel about bears. But there are trees and flowers and birds everywhere. That nature is just a part of our DNA here. And the beautiful trees that are just ancient and have so much wisdom are here to wrap their arms around us as we wrap our arms around them. Yeah. That we're all part of this experience. David Brooks says, the universe is alive and connected. Quantum particles explicitly flip together, even though they are separated by vast differences of time and space. Somehow, the world is alive and communicating with itself. There is some interconnecting, animating force, and we are awash in that force. Now, being a ministerial student, I can't help but read something like that and then put it into divine terms. So let me read it again for you, but put in God or wisdom or divinity or the universe into that space. Somehow, the world is alive. And the divinity in me is communicating with the divinity in you. That there is some interconnecting, animating force that I call God. And we are awash in it. We're awash in God. And what if we walked outside every day and instead of seeing something that's missing, we realized that it was God that was supporting us as we walk? That we're literally living and breathing and being a part of the divine all the time in all things. Then we'll be heaven on earth. We'll already be home because we are, just as we are. And so I challenge you this week, as you go about your day, to start right where you are. Whether that's building a spiritual exercise program, or using that practice of standing for something and against nothing, and realizing that we have all been woven into each other's lives. That it's together, that we're a piece and a part of this tapestry that we call life. I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you all. And so let's say our affirmation together. I claim the keys of freedom, peace, and joy, recognizing my unity with the whole of life. I know I am home wherever I go. I am experiencing heaven here and now. And so let us just take that into prayer. What a blessing it is to come together in this beautiful congregation, to know and feel that sense of home that is ever present right where we are. For we are one with the one. That God is all there is. That one presence, one power. We call it good, we call it God, Spirit, beloved. And what I know that I know that I know is that we are one with this. And so it is in that space of knowing that I speak a word for every person in the sound of my voice. Knowing and declaring that we are already home. That the keys to the kingdom have always been ours. We need but recognize and open our eyes and claim it. And so I affirm that we are each a yes for that this day. That we are a yes for abundance, a yes for love. That we are a yes for peace and for freedom and for all of the good in all of its forms. And what I know is true is that we take this sense of home with us wherever we go. And so as we walk out in the world this week, we carry that in our souls all of the time, spreading that love and light, because we are the ones we've been waiting for. What a joy it is to claim and know this for ourselves this day. And so it is with a heart that is just overflowing with joy that I cast these words forth into the law. I let them go and let them be, knowing that sweet Spirit simply whispers, yes, my beloved ones, yes. And we know and claim this together by saying together, and so it is. And now we have the pleasure of Anna and her musical skills. Anna.
Wow. Isn't it interesting that we have such a heavy day today with some of our fellowship really suffering, and yet we had such powerful messages. Thank you, guys. You're really cosmic. Traveling at night, the headlights are bright. We've been up many an hour, and all through my brain comes a refrain of home and its warming fire. And home sings me of sweet things. My life there has its own wings. Fly over the mountain, though I'm standing still. The people I've seen come in between. The city's a tiring life. The trains come and go, but inside I know the struggle'll soon be a fight. And home sings me of sweet things. My life The headlights are bright, but soon the sun comes through the trees. Around the next bend, the flowers will send their sweet scent upon the breeze. And the home sings these sweet things. My life there has its own wings. Fly over the mountain, though I'm standing still. Fly over the mountain, though I'm standing still. Recorded by Bonnie Raitt, written by Karla Bonoff.
Thank you so much. Everyone adds so much to our community, to our services. I just love it. As Anna mentioned, there's two of us who have had interesting experiences recently. One is, as you probably already know, Cherie lost her partner, Ty, a week ago?
The 12th.
The 12th, on the 12th. And I had sent out a notice about that. And so we honor you in your grieving practice. That is a sacred path to be on. And then Claudia and her family, house burned down. So they're now ensconced in the Best Western. So we also honor that grieving process. You know, I think it's so important for us when we have any loss of any type to experience the feelings and not try to stuff them. I know in my own life I get busy so I don't have to think about it or feel it, right? And then I'm telling other people, oh, you gotta feel, you gotta feel. It's like, yeah, right. You know, remember that. I do know that we will be having a memorial for, well, we're not gonna have a memorial, we're gonna have a wake, which means a party in January when Ty's family and the rest of Cherie's family can be here. So you will hear about that. And hopefully within the next week or so, Claudia and Daryl and Abby will have their new home, wherever they find that. And then they need stuff. So if you, I know Donna said she was collecting already sheets and linens and things like that, but they need everything. I mean, absolutely everything. So clothes, household goods, you know, dishes. I don't know. You can talk to Claudia about what? Oh, lamps. Yeah, light. Well, she's such a bright light. Claudia's such a bright light that I didn't even think about that one. But we know that together, our community always steps up when someone needs help. And so here are times that you might want to tap in with Cherie to see if she and her mother and family need anything. Or, of course, Claudia will be collecting things for. If you get some stuff before they get a place and you need to put it somewhere, we could always put it down in the basement. So, like we have the storage. So, but they're going to need furniture. I was talking to Claudia on the phone the other day, and she said they decided instead of a couch, they want 2 recliners. I thought, wow, that sounds kind of neat, actually. So anyway, so let's stop for a moment and think about this whole idea of generosity, not only in the ways that I've asked you just now, but also in what we're going to give to this center, how we support this center. It is our spiritual home.
And so think about the offering that you're going to give as we read our affirmation together. I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond. And so it is. And so we're probably going to hear some music while the baskets are going around. Those of you on Zoom or even in this room, you can notice on the screen now is how your gift can be given without the offering baskets. And let us do this by remembering the givingness of the divine that is constantly giving as we allow ourselves to be open to receive. So I know that these gifts were given with a generous heart, and this same generous spirit is part of this community. So we see that we're grateful to that one source, the source of all things. And so it is. And so it is. So I want to thank everyone for being here this morning. It's so much fun having this new arrangement, don't you think? I really like it. It's nice. So let's have our statement of inclusion. And who would like to be the reader this time? Cherie, come. You want me to help? Oh, you got it. I'll stand here for that. Can you see it?
I probably should have brought my glasses.
Are they in your purse?
Yeah, they are, as a matter of fact. In that pocket right on the front. Right side.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Oh, no, that doesn't work at all. Okay. We, the Eureka and Ukiah Centers for Spiritual Living, are communities that celebrate diversity, foster inclusion, champion inner work, and create space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are communities that honor the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocate with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are communities that bless each other, see sacredness in life, remain learners and listeners as we may grow together and understand that oneness is not sameness. We know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
All right. So let's stand and sing the peace song.